Okay, this is the walk around, and then the next video will be the startup video since it doesn't have electric start. This is a total frame off, engine out, engine rebuilt, fully restored 1974 Suzuki TS 400. It was about a 2-year project, and it was completed 7 or 8 years ago, and it's been on the floor in my museum since. I put 75 miles on it on a couple rides after everything was put back together and vetted out, just to make sure that everything worked as it's supposed to, and it did. So I stopped with the 75 miles. I'll get up close and show you some really good detail work that's been done on this. I would say the bike is probably 15-20% better right now as you're watching this than it would have came off the production line with just the finishing work done. But after we had it apart, I sent the instruments in to a guy down in California, and he disassembled them, serviced them, relubricated and all the other stuff they do to them, and then he reset the mileage back to 0 because it's a total frame off restoration with the new engine rebuild and everything. What's interesting about this bike, this is the 3rd one I've owned and absolutely the best, is you see the tachometer red lines at 6,250 RPMs, and at about 3,100 RPMs in 5th gear you're actually going 60 miles an hour down the road. It's pretty amazing. It's like a little tugboat 2-stroke. The bike has many new OEM parts that were sourced a lot with Paul Miller and brother. But let me just do a real slow walk around and you can see the new stuff. The headlight bucket is all new OEM, as are the turn signals all the way around. All the cables, speedometer cable, cable, clutch cable, is all new. The frame was taken off and powder coated black. And try and find one of these OEM clutch cables that has a little heat shield here, like a big spring. That's like almost impossible. But the engine head and cylinders were all glass beaded, and they look like brand new. All the cases were polished, which you would not have seen from the factory. All the new rubber bits are replaced with new. The exhaust pipe was taken off and glass beaded, and then repainted. A new heat shield was able to be sourced. The shield, for the exhaust pipe, just to protect it from rocks and whatnot. New chrome on the exhaust pipe. And the big muffler, the way it came from the factory on the back, is all there. The paint was professionally done with all new reproduction decals made out of 3M products, which are actually a better decal than they came with on the factory, but everything color matched, decal matched. The bike is absolutely stunning, and I'm sorry I'm out here today in like 38-degree temperature filming this, and I don't have any direct sun because you'd see just how the thing kind of glows in the sun. The forks were taken apart, rebuilt, and made to look like brand new. The wheels were disassembled, and so the brake hub had no spokes attached to it, and it was all polished up inside and out. It is better than they were new, and all relaced up with brand new spokes and brand new rims. So you can just see how gorgeous these are. You can see they've never spent time. Outside it has the new Trials tires that have 75 miles on them. And we left it all stock, so it has a bead lock on the front tire, even though it's not a drive tire. and with the corresponding weights to balance it out. And on the rear tire, it has 2 rim locks, one right there and one down here 180 degrees away, and then the valve stem. And the rear tire was done the same way. The hub, the drive hub, and the brake were taken apart, removed from the wheel, and everything polished up to just look gorgeous. And you can see it has been like driven in the mud or on the street much. Shocks are new OEM shocks. Or they may be reproductions, but they're OEM spec. You can just see all the work on this. And I'll try it. I don't know if the light will show it or not, but the painter did a really good job, because what you see under here, he didn't paint the underside of the fender like the top side is, but that's the way they came from the factory. They didn't bother painting the underside, and so it looks very original. Front fender's the same way. I don't have good light. The sun's really low in the sky this time of the year. And the seat it's a new seat, and I can't remember. I had 2 different people helping me do this. It sure looks like an OEM seat though, because when you look at the fasteners that hold the try and get back here a little ways, that hold the tabs on right here, those look exactly like the original, where they pulled the seat cover over and then they bent the little tabs back. And if you bend them too many times, you know, they're going to break. Hey, so very original. And look at the paint job on that seat, or the underside of the seat, and the air box. And you have the obligatory spare spark plug, which these bikes never really fouled the plugs because they're the electronic ignition. And one thing about this design that I really like with Suzuki is when the oil comes off of the oil pump back there, it runs down these lines, and you see one line goes right down to the crank bearings. And so the crank bearings, while the engine's running, is getting fresh oil, the 2-stroke oil, from the gas tank right on the bearings on the crank, and then the other line goes up and gets mixed with the gas coming through the carburetor into the cylinder. And again, you can see the beautiful job done on the cylinder and the head and on the cases, case covers. A new chrome chain guard, new chain sprockets, of course. You can just look in here and see it is literally like brand new. And if we get good light, I will try and zoom in here on the gas tank. And you can see the inside of the gas tank is beautiful. No rust, no corrosion. Again, here are the instruments. And so I can show you here that the neutral light works. The turn signal dash light and turn signals work. And the red brake light doesn't come on unless one of the 2 filaments in the tail light, which is one's the tail light, one's the brake light, if one of those burns out, then your red brake light comes on the dash here to tell you you got a burnout bulb, which, you know, kind of is high tech for 74. And for people that have done restorations on these bikes, you know what a pain in the rear it is to find one that has straight dog ears to hold the headlight bucket on, more or less being in absolutely perfect condition on both sides. So you might want to watch this video a couple times, because there's a lot of info here, and I'd really encourage you to just really pay attention to all of the details everywhere on the bike as to the absolutely fabulous condition and shape everything is in. And there's a little toolbox. So now I'm going to go over here and park the camera on a picnic table and then do a startup. But I can't do it like I normally would because this thing doesn't have electric start and it's a 400 single, so it's not like you can just do it with your hand or anything. So that's just for the walk around. Thank you.